Hi everyone, this is Tisch Aitken and it's Friday, January 17th, 2025. Boy, has the astrology been crazy and this is an unforgettable year. Not unlike January 12th of 2020, which forever changed the world. That was a big, big year and big aspects. The two malefics at the world axis, Saturn and Pluto. Well, now we have a very big year in a different way. Pluto is no longer in Capricorn, as you're all well aware. It was dipping back and forth into Aquarius in 23 and 24. It left Capricorn altogether on November 19th of 2024, and it'll be in Aquarius through March 8th of 2043, another 18 years. So that's a big deal, okay? And with that said, Mars is currently out of bounds, which I was not aware of, and I'm normally on top of that. Mars retrograded on December 6th at 6 degrees and 11 minutes of the fixed fire sign of Leo. And it ingressed back into Cancer on January 6th. And Mars also is out of bounds, which means that it does not play by the rules. It can be very fiery and aggressive and angry and assertive. And it's now in Cancer where people will be going out of control with their emotions. And it's out of bounds from December 30th through April 7th rather. And this is a big deal because we just had the fires in Los Angeles, as we're all well aware, and Mars was already out of bounds. On November 3rd, Mars opposed Pluto for the first of 3 times, and they were at 29 degrees of Cancer and Capricorn respectively, because then Pluto is no longer in Capricorn. It never, ever will be again because Pluto takes 248 years to orbit. So with that said, on January 6th, Mars returned to the sign of Cancer. Now, there was a second opposition. I have to say this. There was a second opposition of Mars and Pluto on January 3rd. Now Mars was in Leo still, okay? I was still in Leo, opposing Pluto in Aquarius. So this is a different theme to it a bit, but also setting up the Pluto return of Los Angeles, as I discussed yesterday. I'm not going to get a scrambling. I'm not going to give you a novel like I did yesterday. This is not a Faulkner novel or a Faulkner video, okay? Let's keep it concise. All right. So they opposed one another, okay? And so that happened on the 3rd. But then on the 6th of January, the moon was in the cardinal fire sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And Mars is out of bounds, as we all know, and it returned to the sign of Cancer on Monday the 6th, and automatically then triggered the initial Mars-Pluto opposition on November 19th, when Mars was at 29 degrees of Cancer, opposing Pluto at that time. So this triggered the first one, and that's an aspect of war and combat, and anybody that is in the Los Angeles area knows it feels like a war zone. And the energy of the people, they are rallying, they are doing everything they can, but it's horrible, and in our own lives, this energy is very palpable. This is very fiery, out of control energy. Yesterday and the day before, we had Sun opposite Mars, out of bounds. There was a ceasefire with Israel and Hamas. Hopefully that will take effect. That would be a good thing. That's unusual with a Mars Sun opposition, but that's a good thing. And we'll see. We're also dealing with very Aquarian themes, obviously. Pluto in Aquarius. TikTok just got banned. I heard that it got finalized today. I can't really speak right now. It's better terms, you know what I mean, that they said that this is done for now. So that got banned. Aquarius is very much concerned with technology It's also about intelligence and the intellect and networking, social networks, virtual networks, obviously, in this case, in the modern time we're in. But that occurred. And the sun is going to enter Aquarius on January 19th. And that is anytime a planet, or the sun in this case, ingresses into Aquarius, it's automatically going to meet up with Pluto early on, because Pluto moves very slowly. It's only going to get to 3 degrees of Aquarius this year. And so the sun meets up with Pluto on January 21st at 4:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 1 degree and 41 minutes of Aquarius, the fixed air sign of Aquarius. And the thing I was going to mention too, on the day of the fires, that the moon in Aries also, it met up with Chiron, the wounded healer. Chiron is currently transiting at 18 degrees of Aries, and that is where the total solar eclipse occurred on April 8th of last year. And that's the midpoint of the Venus-Sun conjunction in Los Angeles, approximately 18 degrees of Aries. And there's so much healing and wounded energy there. And Mercury was squaring Neptune on the day of when the fires broke out. So there's a lot of Neptunian energy in the midst of this very Aquarian and Aries energy too. I remember when I was looking at the end of last year, there's so many Aries themes, and that Mars, which rules Aries, it's not transiting a sign it likes to be, but it's retrograde. Never a great way to begin the year, almost the first 2 months. Out of bounds through the beginning of April, out of control. And there's so much anger already, and fear, which often can, be tantamount to anger. It can certainly morph into anger when people get freaked out. And then we have, going forward, we no longer have the north node of karma in Aries. It's now in the sign of Pisces. It ingressed into Pisces on January 11th, where it will be through July 27th of next year. That is very unlike the Aries energy. That's about, on the higher level, higher vibration, compassion, creativity, selfless love, imagination, dreams, magic, helping those that cannot help themselves. Saturn is in Pisces on and off through February 15th of next year. Saturn will meet up with Neptune next year at the world point at 0 degrees, I believe, in 48 minutes of Aries, but it's at 0 degrees. It's at the world axis. 0 degrees of the cardinal signs is at the world point. The Aries point is the beginning of the astrological new year. It's a degree of creation. That's going to be intense. And Saturn and Neptune meet up approximately every 40 to 45 years. So we were dealing with that preview last year. They're not going to meet up exactly in the sky until March of next year. But Saturn and Neptune got close in the sky last year in Pisces. And that happened in 1520. And again, during the gold rush in 1848. It's a hard energy. I feel it's something that, dissolving structures and, not easy. And so what I was going to say too, we had Jupiter squaring Saturn, as we talked about at the end of last year on December 24th. That's still looming, and that's not easy. And this weekend, we do have a good aspect today. The sun formed a good aspect to Neptune, the planet of dreams and imagination, at 6:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully you get to relax a little bit with all of this crazed energy. Hopefully you get to dream or tap into that a little bit. And then we're going to have Venus meeting up with Saturn tomorrow in the afternoon, and that energy looms. I feel we're feeling that now this weekend, basically, definitely Saturday and Sunday, and it's exact on Saturday. That's a big deal because Venus does love being in Pisces, and Venus will retrograde on March 1st, about 8 days after Mars officially stations direct. Venus, the planet of love and value, how you earn money, how you partner with others, will retrograde. And it's going to retrograde initially in Aries. There we go again. 10 degrees and 50 minutes of the cardinal fire sign of Aries, triggering the solar eclipse that occurred on October 2nd, which was at 10 degrees of Libra. So what was going on then? That was also when Mars entered its shadow in the beginning of October, when it reached 17 degrees of Cancer, where it will station direct on February 23rd. It will get to 17 degrees and 1 minute of Cancer. So that, Mars was in its shadow. We had an eclipse at that time. When Venus retrogrades on March 1st, it sets off that eclipse. Then Mercury, which happens frequently. Venus and Mars, no, not so much. Once is every year and a half for Venus. Mars is once every 2 years. Mars is the fastest moving planet, and we've got it moving slowly in its fall position, out of bounds, in a sign it doesn't like being, emotionally triggered. Good luck to us. But we got to deal with it, and we have to deal with this. We have to be strong, okay? We got to co-create. The North Node is in Pisces now, and this is about tapping into your imagination and your dreams. This is about helping other people. Right now, the latest disaster was in LA, and it's a huge one. But in the fall, there was Helene. There was Hurricane Helene in Asheville, and that was right by the lunar eclipse in Pisces, which was at 25 degrees and 41 minutes of Pisces. That was September 17th, that eclipse. And usually the Neptunian energy you think of more with flooding or hurricanes or more things connected with water. Neptune rules the ocean. And we do have a lot of water in the sky, and you can't see that in LA right now, but there is a lot of water. Mars is out of bounds. And when Saturn stationed direct in November, it opposed the sun of when LA was first founded, not then when it became a municipality, but in 1781. Pluto is at 4 degrees of Aquarius. And so again, having the Pluto return of the area, which will be triggered one more time on April 26th when Mars opposed Pluto at 3 degrees and 48 minutes of Leo and Aquarius. That's very close, to being at 4 degrees, getting very close. So feeling that energy, right? But right now we have Mars in Cancer. That's water. We have the North Node of Karma in Pisces, as I say, in Neptune, but it's going to meet up with Neptune on February 7th. It's at a fixed star known as Shiat, and I talked about this yesterday, and I will again. That is connected with the Titanic, with shipwrecks, with being abandoned and lost at sea, with self-undoing and suicide, and I'm going to be real about that because the mental health epidemic is huge. Neptune was transiting at this degree from May 4th through September 4th of next year. It's going to enter Aries on March 30th through October 24th. It's going to be in Aries for a long time this year, for several months. But then Saturn, which is how you structure and anchor things and build things, Saturn will enter Aries on May 24th through September 1st. So we have two outer planets. We're also going to have Uranus enter Gemini on July 7th through November 7th at the 1st degree. These are all in harmony, but the idea that Saturn and Neptune are going to be very close. Saturn doesn't like being in Aries. It's exalted in Libra, so it's in its fall position. Aries is about ego and self, about new beginnings, about initiating and making things happen. And Pisces, that Pisces story that's still very much in the backdrop. Venus will be, okay, so Venus will enter Aries on February 4th. Venus retrogrades on March 1st, again at 10 degrees and 50 minutes of Aries. And then it returns to the sign of Pisces on March 27th. And then it stations direct on April 12th at 24 degrees of Pisces. That sets off the lunar eclipse from September 17th. And it also is a lot of Pisces because Venus will be in Pisces on and off through April 30th. That's a beautiful thing because that's saying, look, you may feel lost. You may feel that dreams are not possible. I've said this countless times. Saturn is not in its fall position or its detriment in Pisces, but it certainly feels like it. It's a tough placement. Everybody I know closely with that placement, it's a hard placement, Saturn in Pisces, because again, the ocean is ruled by Pisces or Neptune, and it's uncontainable. Saturn wants to anchor. Saturn wants to get to business and get the Neptune, like, well, let's tune out. Let's dream. Well, Saturn doesn't like doing that, but we have to work with our dreams. So guess what, Saturn? Gonna have to do this. So let's work with dreams. This weekend, Venus, Saturn. Well, there could be breakups, definitely. And there can be, people thinking, oh my gosh, my finances, re-examining that area because Venus represents love and money. But there could be a reality check of, I want to repair my relationship. What do I need to do? Mars retrograde in Cancer. Well, that's also concerned with family and home. If you live with somebody or if you're a partner, you are family. Can we fix this? What can I do? We can't make other people do things, but we can be the change as well. We co-create this. North Node at the last degree of Pisces. Well, very, very heavy emotions. That's the last degree of the zodiac. And Neptune will meet up with the North Node on February 7th at 28 degrees of Pisces. And then Saturn will meet up with the North Node in Pisces on April 12th, I believe. It might be the 17th, but it's in April. And so April 21st, pardon me, April 21st. I reciprocal of the number. So there you go. So April 21st, different energy. Neptune North Node. How can I help? What can I do? How can I be of service? Saturn North Node. Well, that was me in LA. Saturn was on my North Node. I have a mission. I have a purpose. I want to do something. And so let's figure this out. I know I'm meandering all over, but that's the energy. We've got a lot of water and we've got Mars out of bounds in Cancer, which is very emotionally driven. So people aren't thinking logically. We've got Venus and Pisces. Well, it's with Saturn, the taskmaster, this weekend. So it's getting a little bit brought down to earth, but still, also the mourning and the loss. Pisces is endings, and many people have experienced many endings and loss with Neptune at the final degree of Pisces and now the North Node there. But how can we heal? How can we tap into magic? I've said this before. AA was founded with Saturn in Pisces in 1935. The Serenity Prayer. I can't think of it right now, but grant me the wisdom to know the things I can't think of it. Things you can control, the things you can't, the wisdom to accept the things you cannot. And so there's some things that are definitely out of our control right now, but what can you control? What can you do? Words are eluding me with all this water and Pisces. Well, maybe because Neptune's squaring my ascendant, and so are the nodes of fate. Again, I feel a mission. I really want to help California because that is my second home, and that's where I really come alive in my astrology, and I get inspired, and it's just so sad. But also in general, my focus has very much been on mental health and recovery. I'm with somebody, my partner is in recovery, and I'm not ashamed to say that, and I'm very proud of that, and we have to get this together. My parents were in recovery, and so we want to heal, and good luck to all of you. Take care, and thank you so much.